another episode of Super Reaction Bros. I'm Chris.
I'm Christopher.
On today's episode, we're taking a look at a CinemaSins new one. This time for Everything Wrong with Castaway. Ooh, excuse me.
Yes.
In 14 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't remember, Castaway, this was Spielberg, right?
This is still Spielberg.
Okay, so this was a Steven Spielberg movie from the mid to late 90s about a FedEx employee who one day whose FedEx plane crashes in the middle of the ocean and winds up on a deserted island.
Yes.
Then for about, I believe it was 4 to 5 years.
I think about 4 or 5 years he was stuck on the island.
He was stuck on the island until he finally managed to escape, only to find out that everything had changed. People thought he really was dead.
Yeah.
His wife, played by Helen Hunt, thought he was dead, so she moved on with his dentist of all people.
Yeah, because they mentioned that too before he left.
And for the most part, it really grounded the fact about how different it is being, surviving and being eventually saved.
Yeah.
You could tell that it changed his life,
Completely, he changed his perspective on everything. Because it started off in the beginning. It started off with everything relied on technology. Time. It was always time-based, but also technology-based as well.
Yeah.
And then it's like he comes to this, he gets stuck on this island where it's like time is nothing there.
Yeah. So, I was gonna bring up the scene most remember is when they're having a party and
everything they're serving
is sushi.
Is seafood.
And then he finds one of those automatic click lighters, and just goes.
It was
even when he goes to sleep at night, he doesn't sleep on the bed.
Yeah, it's just like a soldier or something like that for a while. It's like they're so used to sleeping on PTSD, where it's like they're so used to sleeping on the floor. They're so used to it where
they're so used to different conditions overall. Not necessarily always sleeping on the floor, but they're always used to sleeping in different conditions.
Exactly.
For him, he slept in a cave.
Yeah, and
he did his own tooth removal. That was the most brutal part of it.
God, damn,
and then by the end of everything, his life is never going to be the same again. I mean, he just realized how important his life was. This
was an amazing performance that we ever got from Tom Hanks.
Definitely one
that up there. I mean, up there with other ones that he's done, like Philadelphia and Big, Forrest Gump. This is really up there. He did a phenomenal job, and the amount of weight he had to lose, pretty much, just for this role.
He was one scrawny motherfucker.
He was scrawny. It was like seeing him when he was younger, but it's like he's still up there in age.
Yeah.
But let's just dive right into this and see what they can find. Pretty much, it doesn't seem like too much. But Everything Wrong with Castaway in 14 minutes or less. So here we go.
Duh. 41 seconds of logos. By how many millions do you think FedEx outbid UPS?
Yeah, it's true.
Let's be honest, you can find 100 different ways to write a guy onto a deserted island without it involving a worldwide shipping leader.
That's true.
This was scripted as product placement to help fund the film. Yes, that's right. This movie about a man who spends years on a deserted island and befriending a volleyball starts with a box-lid view of a package being sent from Texas to her cheating husband in Russia.
It's from my wife.
While the intrigue surrounding this package might make a great movie, we're 4 minutes in and all we've seen is a very explicit kid runs through a barricade and guard blows his whistle at him, which kind of proves the inefficacy of whistles, if you ask me.
I took the liberty of sending this to myself.
Okay, but why did you send the package to this restaurant first, so that this kid had to run a mile to get to you? Why not deliver it straight here? Unless you just love giving this kid candy bars and CD player.
15 minutes! Crunch time! Crunch time!
God, almost all of this movie's opening is useless, wasteful, and makes me angry. Look at that cheese! That Evian! Too bad none of that stuff ends up on the eventually crashed plane and washing ashore to the
That's
ice.
true.
That's true.
The ice skates and the volleyball. Honestly, how many minutes of setup did you need in order to know his life was fast-paced and he was a very successful smart guy prior to being shipwrecked? My guess is it's way less than 10, and yet here we are.
Today's truck was 2 minutes late. Tomorrow's will be 4 minutes late, and then 6 minutes late, and 8 minutes late. Next thing you know, we're the U.S. mail.
In Russia?
Yeah, Russia?
Does the U.S. Postal Service deliver mail to Moscow?
I heard about this doctor down in Emory in Atlanta.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie. Is Stan's wife's cancer responsible for Chuck's plane crashing on the island? They sure have spent a long time on it. After the previous year's The Green Mile, where he was married to Bonnie Hunt, Tom Hanks decided to date Helen Hunt in this movie. It's the rare back-to-back love interest game known in Hollywood as the Hunt Double. Just in case you have any doubt about Chuck's adventuring capabilities, here's a bunch of pictures, plaques, and books so that assholes like us won't say, how does this ordinary dude survive on a deserted island? But damn, this is overkill. Looks like they invited home for the holidays, the Family Stone, Home Alone, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation to this dinner. Holy, how do you get a table that size?
What about our Christmas? I got a gift for you.
Is it something super on the nose thematically, like a watch? I hope it's a watch. No one will be seated during the Chuck and Kelly exchange Christmas gifts before he gets on a plane and he buried the lead by not giving her the engagement ring that he planned to give her all along scene.
I'll be right back.
Jeez, it's almost like he wants his plane to crash. I bet you forgot that this movie takes a full goddamn 21 minutes to even begin to cast anyone away. Jesus, basket weaving Christ. Chuck finds the airplane seatbelt in under 0.05 seconds, an impossibility that's more impossible than him surviving this plane crash. He's going after the watch? Man, the power of boners is f***ing stupid. Okay, this crash is pretty spectacular. It's worth a sit-off.
Yeah, it's fucking
epic. A better pilot, perhaps one played by Tom Hanks and experienced in water landings, probably could have saved more lives here. Like his situation needed more urgency.
I love that too. It's like
a spinning jet engine is going to chew him up. Run, Tommy! I'm surprised a megalodon doesn't eat him before he makes it to the island. Not only does Chuck survive a plane crash into the ocean and this engine explosion, but also survives a freaking monsoon in this raft. Good thing we saw his sailing trophies and a picture of him on a bike earlier, because I had my doubts about this until I remembered that. Honestly, this looks bad, I know. But after Forrest Gump, Joe versus the Volcano, Captain Phillips, and Cloud Atlas, these right here are only the 5th roughest seas Tom Hanks has faced. Look, if you cut out the opening and the ending of this movie and make it just about his time on the island, I love this movie.
Okay, that's why he's getting so much beef
on how unlikely it is anyone will find them because of the size of the search area. And I can't help but apply that same logic back to the fact that somehow he managed to drift unconscious onto an island that appears to be the size of an amusement park. Yes, Zuzu's pedals are... Helen Hunt's watch is still there. One thing this movie does extremely well is long takes, often with a stationary camera. How many filmmakers have the balls to do a dozen shots like this? The answer is, however many directors have worked with Tom Hanks in his prime and know to trust him, but I'm still removing a sin for the directorial restraint. Okay, this motherfucker came in with the tide and is a super trained sailor and knows better than to draw this message here. But the movie was so desperate for a tide washes hope away sight gag it temporarily made. Just look at his stupid ass here. He knew enough about tides to put his raft and the FedEx boxes up on that next tide-free level back there, but not enough to draw this message elsewhere. Things this movie either doesn't address or just utterly glosses over. Potable water and how long a person can go without potable water. Seriously, you cannot take salt water and boil it to make it drinkable. All this dude's drinkable water is coming in rain-on leaf variety, which we see him do once or twice in total. And how reliably consistent can that be? My ultimate point is that this movie seems to super gloss over the whole freshwater concern.
What is that?
Extremely smart person takes entirely too long to work through the obvious coconut answer to his audio riddle.
Hey! Anybody?
Look, I love Tom Hanks. You love Tom Hanks. The whole world loves Tom Hanks. But hearing him shout into a void like Jerry Lewis and the Nutty Professor really gets on the nerves fast. Hey, nice lady!
Hey, nice lady!
Man, like a guy who just crash landed into the ocean and floated to a deserted island on a raft, like, I'm gonna pretend like this is my sorting table and then I'm still on the clock. It's like the realization that the coconuts are the noise he's been hearing triggers the first indication for him that he is both starving and thirsty as f***. And that's a little weird. He's been more worried about collecting packages the tide brings in than any of his human needs. The balls on this guy, bringing this many back before even knowing how he's going to break into them. Wait, I should have started with the coconuts on this guy. Can we do that? Always the first attempt to break open a wild coconut. This guy goes with the Nolan Ryan method. Goddamn, Mother Nature. Did you maybe overdo it on the coconut security? He seems really surprised to find a cave on the island he hasn't even begun to explore prior to now. FedEx is now statistically more reliable at delivering packages from that plane to this island than it is delivering I bought on eBay to my front door. Movie yada yada's over an awful lot of rock climbing. Necrostelia. You mean to tell me this guy didn't carry any cash on him? Yeah, Shane is dead, though. Dude, love is great, but you can love via sight during the day. Don't waste your limited flashlight on every other second glances at your girlfriend's picture. Jesus. Sometimes like you want to die. This island survival movie that ignores a lot of the questions I have does answer the one question we all have. Yes, he poops. And he kicks sand on it like my orange tabby. And what is it about Tom Hanks and peeing in movies? He does this all the time. Forrest Gump, Green Mile, A League of Their Own, Apollo 13, Toy Story. The man must have gotten tired of not addressing whether or not people pee and decided, I'm going to right a terrible wrong with my acting career. Again, the movie deliberately showed me a glory shelf of his sailing accolades, so the idea that he would think this half-assed without a sail could ever work is just an excuse to bloat the runtime. Looks painful, like way more
I remember that.
out there on a half-deflated raft in the first place. Sorry if I'm having trouble finding my pity. He's drinking that chocolate milk cave pond water, and if you don't vomit or at least gag a bit, you're not human. This is wrong. It's out? You don't say. You are a jackass. Chuck exposes his gnarly infected leg, which never factors into this movie again. Also, paragraph of these divorce papers indicate that the law firm of Mastic and Godson is almost like the mob because it says, we have ways and measures of getting a hold of you wherever you go.
Damn.
Leave that out in the advertisements. Make all the jokes you want to, but this is exactly how Scott Hamilton found his calling. Chuck decides not to open this one, probably as a symbol that even when things are at their worst, he can still keep some sort of moral compass. But man, what if this thing has something he could really use? I'd remove 50 cents if we found out that the box contained a raft, a radio, nautical map...
Remember, there's a joke they make about what's in the box.
And yes, I know that's impossible.
But it makes sense, though.
But what the hell,
It would be hilarious.
Like most Naked and Afraid contestants, eventually a producer came in with a Zippo and lit this and then the camera started rolling to make it look like he finally started the fire with this bow drill f***ery. Wow, what a neat bloody handprint that could not have happened when Chuck grabbed this volleyball. Also, let's not forget, Chuck grabbed the ball with his fingers pointed toward the AVP letters in this shot. But now they point away from them in this shot.
Yes, truly.
Could the ball have rotated when he threw it? Maybe, but I'm sending it anyway. The Wilson character ends up being super crucial to this emotional journey. Just imagine if they used another brand like Spalding or Rawlings or Molten or Tachikara. Just wouldn't have that same sad ring if Hanks were tearfully screaming out, Rawlings! I'm sorry, Rawlings!
Have that fire!
Good God, how can you not take a sin off for this? Look at the joy this brings him.
Much prettier in real life.
Looks like the National Soccer Hall of Fame enlisted Chuck to draw the image of Brandy Champagne. This tool was cut from the dentist because it's too graphic.
Oh,
The
God.
I'm referring to had a more subtle name, but it's the f***ing dentist. Holy a lot of time must have went by. Like, enough time to shoot what lies beneath. Also, you movie, I don't care how awesome he got at spearfishing, that motherfucker can't even see this
fucking fish all the way over there.
That's true.
He shows faith in the tape inside a VHS cassette to keep his raft intact.
Yeah, I know where there's 30 feet of extra rope, but I'm not going back up there.
Character in the movie says he's not going to do a thing, only to be doing that exact thing in the next Shockley show. Also, wasn't he making rope out of the plants on the island? So are those completely gone? I'm not entirely sure why he needs to risk his life for this particular rope. Really, it just seems like the movie needed a way to tell us that he contemplated suicide and didn't go through with it. Look, the film is just a few minutes away from the ultimate Wilson emotional gut punch. I honestly think this fake-out Wilson emotional gut punch undermines the real one coming later, rather than adding to or building to it. Also, if you're on this island and reading this message, haha, you're on a deserted island. You. I could give you instructions on how to build a fire, but I'd much rather just tell you how much I love the girlfriend I left behind. Whatever island material he used to paint this giant version of the angel wings doodle he finds so fascinating and precious, they should damn well have been removed at this point by saltwater and torrential downpour. He did not have the all-weather bear collection at his disposal when painting this It's not an I Almost Died at Sea movie if there isn't a friendly whale visit. All that fucking storm waves and this movie is so much of a mother that what ultimately separates him from Wilson will be an after-the-fact harmless wave. This movie just made me cry over a volleyball.
A volleyball!
No, it doesn't. But
here's just another one.
Because he felt so bad.
No one probably cares about probabilities at this point except me, but the odds of him being discovered at sea aren't any better than him being discovered on that island. Sure, you're going to tell me that by leaving, he ended up in a shipping lane that many cargo ships use and got himself seen. And fine. But my reply is more about how many times he should have died on that f***ing Homer Simpson raft before reaching the shipping lane. This movie gives the middle finger to math, basically. Also, we are now done with the survival portion of the movie, and the final 35 minutes will be about how weird it is that the Mad About You girlfriend has married Mr. Big.
But yeah.
What took 4 weeks? Surely something dramatic and exciting happened when that boat found Chuck and took him back to civilization. Why wouldn't we want to see that?
We buried you. We had a funeral, a coffin, a gravestone.
You know what? I rarely send trailers, but this exact scene was in the f***ing trailer.
It was.
The trailer told you that he was definitely going to get off the island.
In a way.
Sure, you knew in your heart he would get off the island anyway, but it just makes it a little less satisfying to go along.
It is true. It is
You had
true.
my funeral, and then you had Mary's funeral.
There it is, folks. That sweet yet sour payoff from the my wife is dying foreshadowing earlier on with this guy. I mean, this movie needs all the punches in the gut it can get, right? Because the baseline story here is so vanilla.
I'm Kelly's husband.
She's wigged out, naturally. So instead of coming here herself, she sent the guy she married after you died. The f***? Why didn't she send a lawyer or a sibling or a college friend? Of all the people to ask to explain to it, you chose your current ass husband.
But it's true.
This is very hard for everyone.
Honestly, I feel like this movie should either be trying to explore the crash Survivor Island life or the what happens when I come back from surviving and my girlfriend married someone else interpersonal impact of such an experience, but not both. Alas, the movie goes for both.
She could have used a family friend. That's what she could have done. No, she
This
used...
guy.
Fuck this guy. We need to go some fishing.
Tomorrow we're gonna bring you back to life.
On the first day back to the mainland, after 4 years of island survival, everyone just leaves him alone in a hotel room. Somehow, his mental health was entirely ignored, and everyone just assumes he can process everything fine and will be up at dawn tomorrow ready for all the interviews like he's George f***ing Clooney, and not someone just emerging from 4 years of major...
Here we go.
How long will that buy me?
Ah.
Oh, 10 minutes?
10 minutes with the girlfriend who thought I was dead for 4 years and married while I was gone should be just enough time for me. Also, I gotta admire this cab driver. Chuck is famous right now and has been through a lot, but he can't spare any time for this guy. Hey man, Memphis at this hour is a hotbed of cab activity right now, dude. I need to be free to earn that sweet, sweet weeknight at 1 in the morning Memphis cab fare. Thankfully, his impulsive late-night visit to his ex-girlfriend's house comes at a time when the kids are asleep and the husband's conveniently gone. And it's raining, so she has to invite him in.
Houston Oilers are the Tennessee Titans.
We went to the Super Bowl last year, and they almost won by 1 yard. One lousy yard right at the end.
Yeah, about that. Thanks for crushing my soul again. But the 1 yard was a chance to get within 1 point, and then hope something weird didn't happen with Al Del Greco on the extra point. Then overtime. Who knows what would happen in overtime? But stop with the we would have won narrative.
Can I drive it?
It's your car.
It's good, because my taxi is gone.
He didn't even wait the 10 minutes. Chuck found the least sympathetic cab driver in the world. He didn't give two f***s about this dude. It's hilarious, and I'm sinning it anyway, because the sin count's probably pretty low. Sudden vehicular gift is sudden. You were dead for a long time. Would a Jeep maybe make up for it a bit? I can't give you my vagina.
I'm afraid.
I know that she told Chuck that this was still his car, but she and her husband have been using it as a second car. Now, tomorrow, Mr. Big is going to wake up and see that the family has to use one car without being consulted.
This Swiss Army knife.
Will be available again in no time. Oh, come on. He did not see her and definitely did not hear her in this rain. This kiss, while realistic from her perspective, she thought he was dead. Of course she still loves him. Ends up symbolizing everything I hate about this movie, which is that his survival becomes all about his love for her. Then they neuter it by giving her a new husband. Life? Fine. But this is no longer a story deserving of film treatment. He ends up sad as like me. I hate you.
I hate you.
Chuck likes to play songs that are apt to the situation, and luckily his favorite artist Elvis Presley did a song called Return to Sender, which is perfect for what he's currently doing. Well, it appears that Bettina cut this sign's dick off. Chuck is at a little crossroads in his life, and I appreciate the heavy-handed symbolism. But dude, seriously, go wherever this woman is going. Is there even really a choice? He does look in that direction at the end, but he should already be in his car. For the record, this is a long-ass movie, but it's still shorter than Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Oh!
Dave.
Those poor people.
Those poor people.
He's ripping the wrapping paper. It's a...
What's the matter? Babbitt's ballin', wind behind the bone.
Zach is motivated to prove he can survive the 21 days. His overall lack of experience in an unforgiving tropical environment may hurt him. Zach begins with a PSR of 6.8.
Anyway.
Mr. Peter.
Jabba! Magana Jabba!
87 hours is a shameful outrage. This is just an egg timer.
You are a sad, strange little man. Have my pity.
Yeah, my pity.
Got a dysentery. Give me the watch. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years.
Pulp Fiction. Survivor.
Anybody?
Predator. Predator.
Wow, you got
Alien.
a hole right
No, it's
there in your
Predator.
leg.
Predator? Okay, Predator. Okay, so for the most part, what he's essentially saying is that, like, if it was kind of like Lord of the Flies, a bit more like Lord of the Flies.
It was just that you only saw him arriving to the island and him surviving. That's
him
it.
eventually getting saved,
And
then
that's
it would
it.
have been fine.
It would have been fine, but it's
then
like the
the additional stuff
from the beginning and then the end.
It's not that it wasn't necessary. It's just that it was just bad.
It was
just
really
like,
bad. That was it. That was the only problem.
And I remember that they did add that scene in the trailer where it shows, oh yeah, he did survive.
Yeah, which was ridiculous. You think that if you do the trailer right, just show him trying to survive and just leave it like that. Don't try to show that did he survive or didn't he?
And that always did bug me. Is like he comes back. Who's the first person to see him? Not his wife.
Not a friend of his wife, or a friend of a friend. No, it's the husband.
Who was the one that originally was supposed to give him the dentist treatment. He was
his original dentist that he had to go see.
Which was bullcrap. It's like, okay, she can't do it, fine. There's a family member she can use. Perhaps somebody in the family on her side, on his side, because we never hear if he has actual relatives.
Yeah, if he has any type of relatives. You know, you think that, oh, you know, she couldn't make it, or, you know, but it's like, no, they sent the fucking husband.
Yeah,
Mr. Big.
The package with the angel wings on it.
Yeah.
Remember on the DVD, there's an inside joke about what it is. And they said, and like people asked them, I guess press asked them what's in the box, and they just fucking joked around and went, for us it was a waterproof, solar powered satellite phone.
But then after you saw the film, and you see how when the lady gets you, you're like, now it makes sense, you know,
it's like,
she's
now it kind of makes sense where they got the joke, because like she's in the middle of nowhere anyway.
Yeah.
It kind of would help to have a satellite phone if you're in the middle of nowhere.
So it makes perfect sense, and it's just like you sit there and you're like, God damn, he was right there. He could have called for help.
But I think for the most part, it's still a good movie. There's still a good chunk of movie here that's of good quality. I guess it's still Spielberg.
Well, that's why they said pretty much the huge chunk of it where he's on the island is pretty much the best part of the film.
Yeah.
Just him trying to survive, him trying to get through, you know, everything. You know, that's all it was. You know, the beginning and ending was just more of a side story. That's all.
I know the part where it's like, you're going to make me cry about volleyball, aren't you, movie?
Yeah, you're going to make me cry about volleyball. And then not even that, the scab pretty much. He's like, hold on.
Oh no, the coconut one's right. Oh, he unloads his coconut. Wait, can we redo that take?
Yeah, can we redo that take?
Honestly, that was pretty good. I agree with most part what it said. It's still a good movie overall. There's stuff in it that's not very good. And you kind of feel pissed off that Helen Hunt moved on. That's my opinion. But it's still a good movie in my opinion overall.
Oh, yeah.
So, other than that, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button if you want to talk some more about stuff like this. Comment down below if you want to share it around. And if you like it's just a little bit more than anybody else when it comes to talking about cinema sins, hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well.
Let us know what you guys thought of this cinema sins. Was it pretty good for you all? Was it something that you didn't really take fond of or anything like that? Let us know what you guys thought of it down below. They didn't mention up the seafood part because I think that was more like the kind of obvious part. That's what it was.
And the scene where he gets the Swiss Army knife.
Oh yeah, that too. But let us know if you think they may have missed something else that they should have added in there. Besides, like he said, like that one seafood scene or the Swiss Army scene. Let us know in the comments below. Put down what you thought of our reaction overall. But most importantly, thank you for watching.
So until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Christopher.
And this has been a very, very castaway-filled episode of SRB.
See you
later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out our previous reactions,
as well as our other shows,
click the playlist down below.
And if you want to check us out in the social universe,
you can check us out on Twitter,
as well as Stardust,
@SuperReactBros.